Imagine standing at the crossroads of two seemingly opposite worlds, one governed by logic, data, and evidence, and the other by faith, purpose, and meaning. Many people believe science and religion are locked in a never-ending battle, where embracing one means rejecting the other. But what if that's not true? What if science and faith are allies in the search for truth? This is the very misconception that we tackle in Champions Club. In this video, we will show how our discourse community engages with both science and faith, demonstrating that asking tough questions doesn't mean weakening belief. It strengthens it. Through deep discussions, critical thinking, and exploring real-world examples, we help people see how science and religion can coexist and complement one another.
Many assume that pursuing truth in a religious context means leaving your intellect at the door. At Champions Club, we believe the opposite. Truth is consistent, whether discovered through a microscope or through scripture. Our discussions often explore topics like the Big Bang, the fine-tuning of the universe, and the scientific and moral implications of evolutionary theory. Rather than seeing science and faith as opposing forces, we view them as different lenses through which we understand the same reality.
Moving into the modern era, we find that countless scientists today see no contradiction between their work in the lab and their faith in a creator. Francis Collins, for example, is the former director of the National Institute of Health and led the Human Genome Project, one of the largest collaborative scientific endeavors in human history. In his book, The Language of God, Collins describes how mapping the human genome and witnessing the complexity of DNA only deepened his belief in God. He views the elegance of genetic code as further evidence of a purposeful universe, not a random accident. Another prominent voice is Dr. John Lennox, a mathematician at the University of Oxford. Lennox has engaged in public debates with atheists like Richard Dawkins, and often points out that science addresses the mechanics of the universe, the how, while faith asks a deeper question of meaning, the why. He challenges the notion that faith is a retreat from reason, arguing instead that a belief in God provides a robust framework for scientific inquiry. His debates with prominent atheists underscore that belief in God can be both coherent and intellectually robust. Even scientists who aren't traditionally religious have taken notice of the universe's apparent design. Paul Davies, a theoretical physicist, describes the cosmos as fine-tuned for life, suggesting that its physical constants are so precisely balanced that life's emergence seems far from accidental. Whether one interprets this as direct evidence from God, or sees it as an invitation to explore deeper philosophical questions, the implication remains. These scientific discoveries leave room, if not encouragement, for faith. Collectively, these modern perspectives counter the narrative that scientific progress buries belief in God. In fact, they show that the more we learn about the universe, from the nuances of DNA to the expansion of galaxies, the more plausible it seems that faith and science can not only coexist, but ultimately illuminate one another. Historically, modern science didn't arise against religion, it was nurtured within a Christian context. Early scientists believed the universe had been created by a rational God who established consistent, discoverable laws. This worldview laid the groundwork for the scientific method, emphasizing observation and experimentation. Take Isaac Newton, for example. His Principia Mathematica laid the foundation of classical mechanics, and yet Newton famously wrote theological works, viewing his scientific discoveries as a way of uncovering God's divine order. Newton once said, "In the absence of any proof, the thumb alone would convince me of God's existence." For scientists like Newton, the pursuit of knowledge was a form of worship, a way to honor the Creator.
So, the next time someone tells you that science and religion can't coexist, remember that it's a misconception rooted in more cultural narrative than in historical or philosophical reality. Here at Champions Club, we believe faith and reason aren't mutually exclusive, they're complementary. We welcome you to join our community and explore the big questions for yourself.